Build Your Brand in 21 Days. I am your host. My name is Odessa White. I am an award-winning author and bestseller of A Child Raising a Child and also CEO of OGW Publishing. I know many of you have struggled with coming up with book ideas. What is a great book to write? And how to effectively write a book in 21 days to make you money and build brand awareness. So I've got this quick guide to help you on your way. The topics we will cover today is creating your outline, determining your genre, determining who is your target market, what needs does your book serve, and writing tips and tricks from me over the years with working with various authors and writers with coming out with their book and building their brand. One of the things that a lot of people struggle with that I think makes them hesitant with actually completing their book is getting that outline started and also determining what genre that they're writing in, which is extremely important when determining your target market. So let's move along. Creating your outline. Traditional outlines typically don't work for a novel. Many of us in college and grade school, we have been taught how to build a traditional outline, but I find that many entrepreneurs, most of us are non-traditional, right? Being an entrepreneur is kind of untraditional. It's not really what we was taught to pursue in school, and a lot of our brains are programmed a little bit differently. With that being said, what I have found most helpful for my clients have been creating like a brain dumping and a mapping technique where we take all the, we come up with the book title. So, you'll take a piece of paper and you'll write your book title at the top of that paper. And based on that title, you'll just come up with whatever ideas come up, you'll write them down. So you're kind of just dumping them out as they come. You're not putting them in any particular order. It doesn't matter how these ideas are formulated. It don't matter if it's a one-word idea. Any thoughts, any ideas, any sentences that comes to mind when you think about the topic of your book, I want you to put them on a piece of paper. Once you finish with that, I want you to then outline it based on topics, right? So brain dumping doesn't require a lot of thinking. When you let's go back, guys. Brain dumping and mapping. Take all your ideas and write them down. Brain dumping doesn't require a lot of thinking. When you think of your book, what are all the topics and thoughts that come to mind? Let it all out on the paper. Every thought, every topic, any and everything that belongs on the paper should be written down. Then go back later and organize all of those ideas based on chapters and clean up your thoughts and start building a traditional outline. Determining your genre. This is a crucial step that I feel as though a lot of writers tend to skip past, right? Many people don't even know what a genre is. So let's briefly determine what is a genre. And also, is your book subject that you decided to write on, is it a popular genre? Is it a marketable genre? So a genre is a category of artistic, musical, or literary compositions characterized by a particular style, form, or content, right? So we have a lot of popular genres, and I always tell people to try to start off with the popular genre. Believe it or not, romance is a top selling genre. It has been the leading genre for the last 10 years. People just love the romance stories and being, whisked away and having a happy ever after. But following that is fiction stories. But what I tend to see a lot of entrepreneurs, the genre that we tend to dominate is the nonfiction sector, which is a top selling genre. And that's where you find your self-help books. That's where you find your workbooks. That's where you find your journals a lot of times, and things of that nature, followed by drama and poetry. So maybe you have some poetry that you can include in your nonfiction book and kind of make it a combo. Really think outside the box. But try to stick with the top five genres, because what you'll see is you'll dominate one of those areas when it's time to publish your book. Determine your target market. You cannot skip this part, right? Many people like, my book is for everybody. Your book is not for everybody. Everybody cannot be your target market. Now, with that being said, can you sell to everybody? Absolutely, right? You can sell to everybody. My book, A Child Raising a Child, is a self-help book for teenagers and single moms. With that being said, I have went to events, I have taken part in networking opportunities, and there has been men that have decided that they wanted to purchase my book for their family, for their daughter, for their girlfriend, for their mother, for their significant other, and what have you. With that being said, that man that purchased my book was not my target market, right? He wasn't my target market. It doesn't mean that he cannot be a customer, but that's not your target market. And one of the most crucial steps that a lot of people fail to identify is their target market. If you can't identify your target market, what you have is a book, an excellent book. It might be one of the best selling books out there, but no one really knows because your marketing is all over the place because you don't know who exactly that book is for. So, what sets your book apart from the competition? You should know who's your competition in the genre that you're writing with, what you're writing in. Who's dominating the market at that point? Is it somebody you know? Is it somebody you follow on social media? What are the top books when you go on Amazon? What are the top books in that genre that pops up in the search engine? Read those books. Determine what you like from the books and what you didn't like. The idea isn't to copy anybody's thoughts, or it isn't to plagiarize or anything like that, but more so be inspired. Take those ideas, which you didn't like, and build from that with your own authentic thoughts and ideas. So again, your book is not for everyone. What needs does your book serve? What problem does it fix? Does your book serve a need? Does it serve a problem? Do it fix a problem? Many of us entrepreneurs, especially us service-based business, we have so many different ideas, and we have so much knowledge that people will pay for, right? So take that knowledge that you have, that you know you have, and start writing down 5 different things that you know people will pay you for. Remember, your book does not have to be a lengthy book. When you are dealing with the service-based business or a workbook that's teaching somebody how to do something, less a lot of times is more. So think of those things that those questions that people always ask you, the top 5 questions that you always get, that somebody always want to pick your brain for, and build an ebook or a book based on those top 5 questions. Always remember, people buy from who they like and who they can relate to. Make sure your brand online is a brand that is relatable, a brand that people can identify with, and a brand that's authentic. Is your message authentic? That is super, super important when selling and writing your book. Stand out from your competition with compelling products. Your book should stand out. The visuals for your book should stand out. I know today in technology, we can, jump on Fiverr, or we can find a freelancer and we can get a book made just like that. You want to make sure whoever is designing your book is somebody that's experienced and somebody that can design you a professional quality book. Also, why is your book different? One of the benefits of being a self-published author is not having a book like the masses, right? We do have the opportunity to stand out with our own unique style, our own unique flavor, and just, making sure that our book represents who we are as a person. So this is the time to, straddle the fence a little bit. Yes, you want to have a professional quality book, but you also want to remember, because you are a self-published author and because you are self-publishing, that you can kind of push those norms a little bit to your benefit. Be yourself. Don't try to be like everybody else. People enjoy authentic message. In 2021, we can spot people that we feel as though are inauthentic. So it's important to be yourself. If you're quirky, be quirky. If you're a little weird, whatever that means, be weird. If you are a mother, and part of who you are, part of your brand is being that motherly person, allow your viewers to see that. Be yourself, and that's how you'll genuinely connect and build those authentic followers that'll purchase anything that you come out with. and making sure you're using the right platform, right? So certain topics, for instance, I have a podcast, and I will not advertise my podcast on, let's say, Instagram as much as I would on Twitter, on Black Twitter, because the type of topics that we are discussing are more controversial, they're more juicy, and more people on Black Twitter that's interested in those topics. So it's really important to go where your target market at. If your target market is teenagers, maybe you want to be on TikTok. If your target market are people that are more so visual creatures, maybe you should be on Instagram. Essentially, I think you should be on all social media platforms and try to advertise based on what you are promoting at the moment. Writing tips and tricks. So, write at the same time each day. Write a minimum of, we are going to, this is actually a typo. It should be 1,500 words a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's not. Typically, if you take in 2 hours out your day, you should be able to, hit that 1,000 mark, that 1,500 mark. And even, for an ebook, we'll keep it at the 150 word mark. So let's say that you're actually doing the ebook. And I'm talking about an ebook that you're going to sell. You could possibly sell it on Amazon, on their platform. I suggest you actually sell it on your website. If you are creating an ebook that's like a workbook, that's teaching you how to do something, you want to keep that pretty short. You don't want to have it too lengthy. So about 2,500 to 3,000 words on average is what we are seeing from these ebooks. That's service based, that's teaching you how to do something, how to write your book in 21 days, how to do this. They are straight, they're to the point, they're filled with a lot of information, and they're not super lengthy, right? With that being said, it's important to take the same time out of your day each day, right? So if you know that in your day, the only time that you are allowed free time is maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Maybe at 6 a.m., from 6 a.m. To 8 a.m. is the time where your house is quiet, and you know that you have free time. Then you should make sure that you're setting your alarm every day at least 5:45 a.m. so that you have that free time from 6 to 8 a.m., uninterrupted time to just write. And you also want to create that habit every day, right? It takes about 21 days to write a habit. So you really have to force yourself to get up and challenge yourself each day to get up and to write. And I'm going to say 5 days a week because you're allotting yourself that luxury time to relax on a weekend, right? So if you wrote 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, the weekend is your time to just sit back and relax, or maybe reread what you have previously written. What will define your book success from everybody else? It's your drive, it's your discipline, it's your ability to adapt and being authentic. Are you committed to completing your book in 21 days? I know 21 days seems like a little bit of time for a lot of people, but trust me, it's really not. Essentially, it's a week less than a month. It's really not that bad. And like I said, with many of us service-based businesses, we can write so many books in 21 days because we have so much information and knowledge to share that people are willing to pay for. And once again, it does not have to be a thick, long book. Just get the information out there. Pick 5 topics, once again, that people will pay for you, the top 5 comments and questions that you are always being asked, and build from there, using a template of writing them 5 days out the week for a minimum of 2 hours, with the aim of 1,000 to 1,500 words a day. Discipline. Oh, that is a typo. Discipline. Can you block out any and all distractions? Are you disciplined enough to block out any and all distractions that come up? Trust me, they come up, right? When I was writing my very first book, and let me tell you what I believe distractions are. Distractions for me is anything that gets in the way of your goal, right? So as a young college student, I had the mindset that nothing but death was going to keep me from success. And I meant that, right? I truly meant that. And I had to adapt that mindset because it was so many outside forces that was distracting me, that was making me lose my focus. And I really couldn't commit to being a college student. So once I found myself dropping out of college and sitting on the sidelines, feeling stupid and feeling sad for myself because I knew that I could do it, I adapted the mindset that nothing but death was keeping me from success. And I got up every day and I went to class, even when I didn't feel like it. So it became pretty easy when the time came to write my book. It became easier to stay focused, right? Because I had already adapted that mindset in college, and then I carried that same mindset through nursing school. So when it was time to build the business and write the first book, I kept that same mindset. But I didn't expect to actually be challenged with those words. And many people that know, when I wrote my first book, A Child Raising a Child, I was met with the death of my son's father. I was a couple months to completing the book. I had advertised the book on social media. Many people knew it was coming out. I did different fundraisers because I was a new entrepreneur and I didn't have a lot of money. I was a brand new nurse. I did fundraisers to help me with the cost of starting my business. And September 2015, I got the news that my son's father was murdered. And for me, I didn't want to write no more, right? I had like a couple chapters left and I was done. And thankfully, it was a friend of mine that kind of reminded me, like, hey, get back on your job. This is what you had to do. So it's important to let people know, everybody around you should know, like, hey, I'm about to write this book and I'm giving myself 21 days. So I need you to hold me accountable, right? I need you to ensure that I stay focused on what it is I need to do. Because when my discipline fell short and I felt like crawling underneath a rock, it was my accountability partners that reminded me of what my goals was, and I got back to work. How well can you adapt? Many of us see what goes on today and with social media. I think that we had a blackout a couple weeks ago on Instagram. And if I'm not mistaken, Facebook is ready to undergo a change in a few months, next year or something like that. I'm not sure exactly when that's supposed to take place. So are you presenting your book idea in new ways, right? So maybe you are a person that's scared of doing videos, right? You're scared of doing videos. You're scared of advertising your product or your book via videos. And it's really time, especially when you start writing a book, to step outside the box, do videos, do different things and engage. If you have a business account, you can engage with what your followers like the best. So for me, my followers like interactive videos and or reels. So when I post, I'm going to do a video or a reel because I know I'm going to get the most engagement from those. I know I'm going to get the most feedback from those. And I know that that's what my followers want to see. So think outside the box, adapt to what your clients want to see. Maybe they want to see, your personality, or maybe they want to see behind the scenes of your day-to-day life. With your business account, you can kind of test the engagements and adapt based on what it is that your clients actually want to see from you. We already talked about being authentic, and today age with social media, we see a lot of things that we know are not really reality, and people really want to see authentic reality. They want to see real people. They want to know, like, okay, I can trust this person. I can relate to this person. This person seems authentic. This person is transparent. And understand, transparency and being authentic does not mean you share everything with your social media followers. But what you do decide to share, you're just allowing your authentic self to shine through. Thank you. This wraps up everything. If you enjoyed the presentation, please follow me for more information. And thanks for having me.
All right, ladies. Odessa, you sparked a whole lot of, I'll say, leadership talk in the chat, which I love to see. The ladies are already organizing an accountability group for future authors and second-time authors. I see you, Zumi. So that's super dope. Blaze means building leaders and accepting zero excuses, and y'all are already transitioning from entrepreneur to leader. I love it, love it, love it. Keep that same energy. So now we're gonna do a Q&A with Odessa. Odessa is here. She is ready to answer any of your questions. So for those of you who are new to the space, and those of you who just need a reminder, inside of the chat, you'll see a Q&A button right on that ribbon. Just hit the Q&A box, type in your question, and Odessa will answer them for you. Odessa, are you good? Your camera and your mic okay?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you, Mama. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
Can you see me?
Yep.
How you doing?
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome.
And I've been a little under the weather, so I truly, truly appreciate that.
Oh, well, we appreciate you still showing up, sis. I hope you feel better really soon. But you look good. We can't tell.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm getting here. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. While we're letting the questions queue up, and there are a lot of them, is there anything that you want to say in general to the ladies who might be thinking about writing their first book?
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me. This was an exciting experience to be a part of. In addition, just to find somebody authentic that really want to help so many people has been amazing. So I'm honored that I was chosen for something like this, to be able to give back and just give some information, insight, and provide, just the tools and information that I didn't have when I was first starting out. I would say for anybody that's thinking of writing a book, you should, representation matters. Representations is really, really important. And though we all want to make an impact and we want to make money, it's important that, people that's coming after us and people that's standing beside us and just people that look like us can pick up books that represent creatively how we think, creatively the experiences that we go through, the tribulations that we go through, because it's not enough representation. So please write the story, write as many as you want to write. We need the story. Your story can change somebody's life. So keep writing.
Well, y'all hear that energy Odessa coming in here with? Like, if you thought you need permission, which you don't, Odessa just gave it to you. She said, write as many books as you want to write. That's the energy I'm talking about, because it's needed. Yes. Like, somebody is waiting for you. I mean, I hope y'all understand this. Like, we didn't see it growing up because the person we were waiting
somebody is waiting for your story.
Yeah.
Right, because the reality of the situation is I'm 36 years old. I'm 36 years old. I am a licensed practical nurse, but I am a mother of 4, right? So I had my first child at 15. So with that being said, if I would have thought I was not qualified to write that first book, those 7 awards would not have followed. The $1,000 speaking events would not have followed. Just the recognition and the different awards and just the pride, that my kids, I have a 19-year-old daughter who's an entrepreneur that's seen firsthand. For years, she's seen entrepreneurship and she's seen a business being built from the ground up, and she's seen her mom do whatever that, she put her mind to. So I say that to say, if we're waiting for authority from somebody else, or we're waiting to be qualified, you'll never be qualified if you base it off of what other people think. So it was a teenage mom out there that needed to hear my story. It was plenty of single moms out there that needed to hear my story. And if I didn't write it, a lot of people, because I was shocked once that book came out, and so many people that I looked up to with these master's degrees and these high profile careers, they was like, oh, I was a teenage mom too. And I'm like, really? Because when I was ashamed, I didn't really have anybody to turn to, right? I didn't really, I felt as though I was alone, and I felt as though I did something wrong. And it had me feeling like I did not deserve to, hold my head up high. So it's too many of us that don't share our story, and we really need to, because somebody needs to hear it.
Say that. I love that, Odessa. I'm going to get into these comments And thank all of y'all. Y'all are so dope. Thank you so much. Y'all are a trip. Okay, so first one, Janelle. I'm going to put Janelle's comment on stage. She is from Suitland. She asks, what questions are useful to ask myself on whether my book will actually fulfill a need?
Well, I think you can. I feel like you kind of already answered that question if you rearranged it. Ask yourself what purpose are you trying to fulfill with your book, and when you can answer like what purpose are you trying to fulfill, you kind of can answer that question as far as like what it'll fulfill. What is your outcome from your book? What can readers take away from, what message can readers take away from the book? So I feel like when you answer those questions, it takes you back to your original question.
Amen. I see a lot of claps on that, so that really resonated. Beautiful. Okay, so the next question is coming from Zumi. She's super dope, super dope, and she has her first book. She said in the chat she's working on her second one, Odessa, and she asks, okay, what would you advise? Self-publishing, publishing company, or a hybrid?
I have a publishing company, but I want to say it's not a traditional publishing company. We do offer traditional publishing, but we also offer coaching. So to be honest, if you're going, I would say a hybrid, because I kind of got a hybrid publishing company. We offer assisted publishing, we offer traditional publishing, we offer coaching, right? Because we are not these big publishing companies. So, these multi-million-dollar celebrities aren't coming to us to write their book. But if we get enough books published, they will be coming to us, right? So now I'm at the point where, some D-list celebrities are like, okay, people are like, oh, I have somebody that may be like a reality star that want to come out with a book. And I'm at the point where I could be like, is it marketable? Like, can we sell it? So I say hybrid, like try out different, don't be scared to think outside the box, because one of the beautiful things about starting your own business is you make up the rules. As long as everything is legal, you can make up the rules and you can kind of think outside the box to, bring your vision to life.
Amen. That's good. It's good for a couple of things. Number one, for those of you who want to be authors, look at Odessa White up here. She's an author. She has a publishing company. She coaches writers. Right, like Ortizia talked yesterday about, like, don't be hopping all around, like really get in the vein and be all up and through that. Like, what do people need? What do writers need? Right. So you are so inspiring because you're thinking as an enterprise, right? You're thinking commercially, and I think that's fire. Don't miss that, y'all. But beautiful. I love the hybrid thought. So if you all need a coach for writing a book, Odessa White is here, right? She has a company. Pull up on her. Okay, beautiful. So next question. Wait, I feel like they're showing out in the chat, Odessa. Let me see what these people talking about. Okay.
Are they?
They are so silly. We got hands. Somebody fighting somebody. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up Anika's question. She says, did you have any reservations about sharing parts of your story? That's good. That may not have shown others in the best light. So how did you navigate it? Beautiful question.
No. Wait, listen. So my first book came out in 2016, and I'm still hearing that family members had a problem with some of the things that I've written in my book. So one of the things that I teach my clients with coaching, because 90% of my clients are nonfiction authors, and one of the things that I try to teach them, I got one client that I'm like, okay, you got to go to therapy for the second book because we just not putting out no nonsense. So I say that to say, as long as you don't have a malice intent behind it. Yeah, because we got to be careful that we're not being malice and we're not being vindictive, and we're not trying to. I don't believe that I could take revenge into my own hand, and I don't condone those type of things. But I do believe that our truth is important to share, and your story is worth sharing. So with that being said, as long as you're telling your truth, I feel like it's a tasteful way to do that. I wasn't too concerned. I share stories about my child father. He to this day still hate the light that the book shed on him, but it was the truth, right? It was the truth. And some people don't like to deal with the fact that they may not have been their best self at that moment. But I don't really share day-to-day information in a book because it's not a movie, right? So you don't have to know the day-to-day interactions that I went through, but it's important for me to be transparent and me to be honest. I'm working on quite a few books now, and one of the books I'm working on with mental health, I have to be vulnerable, right? And I have to be transparent, and I have to be authentic to myself. So it's going to be people in that story because we're going all the way back from the post-traumatic stress disorder. And once I realized, like, okay, this happened in my childhood, then that means I have to expose and peel the layers back from a lot of trauma, a lot of childhood trauma. So I really don't care how people think, because I can have those personal conversations with those people that's in the book. I still love them. I still hold them to high regards and high respect. But I'm not going to hide my truth to save face for somebody else.
That's right. That's good. And I think Anika brings up a question that's top of mind for a lot of people that want to write nonfiction. I came out with a nonfiction book in 2020, the top of 2020, chronicling my marriage, who people knew, right? The man I was married to, obviously, I had been with him for 2 years, right? Talking about how I was abused, right? And how I left that situation, talking about how I was cheated on, but like how the church, said stuff and made me think I should say all of these things, right? And I talked about my childhood and how horrible a particular person who raised me was to me and how that infected me, right? And I can identify with that. Like, man, like this is putting them on Front Street because obviously people who know me know who they are. One thing I did, not that I had to do it, right? But one thing I did that gave me ease, but told the truth to save somebody else, was change their names. Now, this is my husband, right? But I didn't say his name, right? I just changed it to something else, right? I did it, and I did that for quite a few people in there, right? Like my dad, I kept the same, and but these certain names, I just changed to protect identities, right? And then this person who raised me, right? It was clear it was a family member, but I would say it was an auntie. It wasn't an auntie, but I said it was an auntie, right? I gave auntie a name, right? So those are some things you can do. Like Odessa is saying, not to be malicious, right? Not to try to get revenge, but to free somebody, right? Like your feelings might be hurt, but I gotta free somebody. And I will say there was no backlash, like legal backlash or anything like that. It came from because it was very clear, right? Like while feelings might have been hurt and egos hurt, like it's very clear that I'm not trying to put you on Front Street, like necessarily. I'm just trying to shed a light on this, right? And I will say, this year, I believe it was this year, my ex-husband texted, he Facebook messaged me because he don't have my phone number, but he Facebook messaged me and said, I read your book. I learned a lot. I'm not upset or anything. This really opened my eyes to things. I'm sorry. Right. And this was a year after I had published my book. Right. So I'm sure he had to chew on some things.
Wow.
Mind you, I have been ignoring all of his Facebook messages for years and years and years. It's finally blocked now. Got me a man, but getting that, not that I needed that, but I can't say getting that did something for me. It was like it freed even you. Right, it freed even you. Right, this was bigger than you and I. Right, so just to underscore what Odessa is saying, like somebody is waiting for you. Somebody is waiting for you. Somebody who's walking the path that you've already walked down is waiting for you, and that gap is not filled today. So you need to do it. And the number of people that have walked away from abusive relationships since I wrote that book is incredible, right? And had they not known the person that did it, the first time Joker put it, I don't think they would have done it. So love that. Next question for you, Odessa. This one is coming from Nina in Atlanta, Georgia. She's saying, Odessa, baby, I'm setting writing alarms right now. What tips do you have for understanding the publishing process? Apologies if I missed that part of your presentation.
There are a lot of books out on it's not a lot of books out on publishing. It's a few. I say get them all because all of them gives you just a little bit of information. I'm currently working on a book, publish, print, and write, publish, and print your book in 90 days or something like that. It's coming out soon, but there's not no book that I have seen that kind of give you everything you need to know about the publishing industry. It's kind of like a trial and error thing. I would say read as much information as you can because there is some information out there free. Start obviously with Amazon because they are the leading book publishing company, but branch out to other companies, Ingram Sparks. You have learn the difference between offset printers and print on demand printers, and know what you're getting into. Like set a budget, stick with that budget. Know when you want to come out with your book. Give yourself ample amount of time. I think the biggest mistake that I see a lot of authors make is they write the book is coming out, they're having a book launch, they're advertising, and then they do not give themselves enough time to order their books. And it's crunch time. So, just make sure you have enough time. Yeah, like the book launches in a week and the books are still not delivered. So just make sure you have enough time, research the different offset printers and the print on demand companies. But with publishing, it's something that you learn as you go along because the industry is kind of like top secret and is not like it was African American people dominating the book publishing industry. So it's not a lot of information out there. So you kind of got to take what you can get and then just go from there. But it's very, very simple as long as you don't do too much. So start with yourself and then build from there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Odessa. And honestly, like this shows that there's a gap, right? And again, we don't need permission. Building leaders and accepting zero excuses. Right. So if there's a gap for African American people, it's a lot of y'all interested in this. Y'all can get in that bag, right? Make the process less fragmented, right? Make the process less mysterious, right? Like Odessa is the only African American publishing person I know, right? So that means there's a huge gap out there, right? So yeah, I think it's dope. Okay, so the next question is coming from Nefertiri. What up, Nef? She says, I'm a co-author and it was a great experience. I want to branch out and write my own book. Since your success, would you self-publish again? Or would you go with a publishing company to assist you?
Well, since I am the publishing company, when I first decided to be an author, I was going to go with traditional publishing companies. One of the things that I think a lot of people don't know about the big traditional publishing companies is one, you're waiting years for your book to be published, right? So you're not coming to them in December and you have a book out in the next few months. It's not happening. You may not have a book out for 2, 3, 4 years. You don't have no control when your book is being published. In addition, you lose a lot of rights from your books. And once you start researching it, you're making literally pennies on the dollar for each book sold. So once I started doing that, and I started doing my research and seeing like these people not even returning my emails. I'm emailing them. Their submission guidelines is crazy. I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own publishing company. So I am, how Cassie, you was like, I do know other Black publishing companies. Some of them are not where I'm at right now. To date, I have assisted so many authors, become authors. Our youngest author is 10 years old. Then we have a 13-year-old author, and the ages just keep going up, well within the USA, not just like the area that I'm from. So I say that to say, I am, I do consider myself one of the up and coming leading publishing companies. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is that our clients aren't waiting years to come out with books. They're coming out with books within 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months. And if they do not have their book written, we're coaching them and helping them write their book. So the only publishing company I will go through at this point is my publishing company. I will never, I always advocate for my clients to be self-published authors. We do have traditional authors, but I always tell people be a self-published author if you can. It's easier if you have the money and the resources to pay out of pocket. Maybe you have a big publishing company behind you, through like coaching, and that's why we offer coaching to assist people. But keep all your money. Our clients walk away. They don't owe us any royalties. We don't collect royalties off their book. They own their book flat out, but we assist them through the process. And once our services is done, they walk away, and that's their book. So I believe in ownership. Like we should be owning these books. This is our legacy. This is something that our kids and our family can attach to for years to come.
Say that. Dope. We have 2 minutes left. We have 2 questions left. Yes. I'm gonna try to hit both of them.
Okay.
Okay. So we have the next one from Anika. She says, "Do you have experience with publishing curricula as well?"
Yes, we publish everything, and I'm trying to expand in 2022. We are expanding to try to come up with different resources in the book publishing company, some things that haven't been done before as well. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, follow Odessa, y'all. Okay, and then the last question, we made it. Odessa, this is from Paquita. Odessa, thank you for sharing your expertise. I love the concept of a literature coach. Do you have pod resources, how to source them, etc.? Is it print on demand?
I think that's print on demand. I could be wrong, but I think it means print on demand.
She said that's right.
Yeah, I think that's print on demand. I do. Yeah, I do. Like I said, I am working on a book that kind of has all those resources in one. Obviously, the biggest print on demand is Kindle, KDP. I can't stand them because they rob us blind. They do. But the biggest print on demand, obviously, is KDP. We do have Ingram Sparks and we have Barnes and Noble, but right now, we're kind of stuck with KDP. We kind of got to, take what we can get at this point.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. We made it, y'all. It's 1/2 Thank you so much, Odessa. You have lifted us in your TED Talk. You lifted us again just now. We're all going to be following you and getting all of the authors in the house, myself included, will be reaching out to you for your services. So thank you so much, Mama. You are light.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, gang. So next we have a workshop from Victoria Rudolph. If you remember her in the panel discussion on leadership, she's from the UK. She looks like a baby, but she has the soul, the wisdom of a 60-year-old woman. Victoria is coming to talk to us about network until you get work. It's a workshop, so have your pens and your paper ready. All right, and we're going to dive into it right now. Remember to answer the polls on the feed for every single session so the speakers know how to continue to refine themselves. All right, I'll see y'all in a second. Love and light.